Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. It is fair to say we have all had a celebration that involved indulging in cake, which has left messy but irreplaceable memories with us. With over 10 years of experience in the baking industry, founder of Nuts About Cakes, MAJEKODUNMI is no stranger to some of the challenges faced in the sweet industry. She's here to give us an insight into the journey of creating her business, which currently employs over 100 people. Good morning, Nike. Oh my gosh, it's great to have you.
Thank
you know,
you.
We've all visited your stores, especially the one in Lekki.
Yes, that's the most popular
Yeah, it's
one.
very popular.
And some of us watched your reality show.
Yes.
That was amazing. You made a cake for Two-Face. You made a cake
Oh,
for
amazing.
for celebrities. All these beautiful things. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank
But
you.
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. You've been in the industry for 10 years now.
Yes.
Now, you've obviously seen some victories and challenges. Can you tell us more about the journey so far?
Wow. So I fell into baking by accident. It wasn't something that I had planned on. But the journey has been interesting. Like you say, it's also been challenging. So starting off by doing everything yourself, and then to building a structured business where you have functions and people who are actually able to take responsibility for different departments. So it's been a long journey, but it's been extremely rewarding too.
Yeah. So would you say that this is something you would have considered doing full-time years ago? I know you say you fell into it, but when you started baking, I'm sure you started baking as a hobby, which is a story we usually get, like, oh, I made a cake for my friend, and then another friend asked, and all of that. But is this an industry that was considered prestigious enough to leave a full-time job, a 9-to-5 in maybe an oil and gas company, you know, to pursue?
I was actually in management consulting before, and it was something that I went into the kitchen one weekend and found a recipe of a cookie online and made it. And like you say, people started asking more and more. And then one day somebody actually asked how much the cookies were. So
how did you price?
To be honest, I was not impressed because I was like, excuse me, I don't make cookies for a living. I'm in management consulting. And little did I know that that's what's going to be, you know, my full-time career now.
Don't snub your hobby.
But it's, I know, right? But it's been very interesting. And baking is something that wasn't popular back in those days. It used to be something that was for, you know, your aunt somewhere in the BQ making, you know, the wedding cakes for the family, etc. But now it's really become a very popular industry. You know, everybody and his brother and sister wants to be a baker, and even my daughter now tells me I want to be a baker and a mom. So I'm just like, brilliant. So
yeah, and there's so many events like the Bake Off that happened last week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, how do those type of events actually help shine a light on the industry?
I think that's what's really helped to propel the industry, you know, shows like this. So it started with a lot of international shows like, you know, Buddy and the Great British Bake Off. And then now as well, we have our own homegrown Nigerian one. So people are very interested. And of course, it's a very visual industry. You know, you see what you like the creations. And so that's also helps to make it popular. People who are interested in baking and those who just enjoy watching to see what the outcome is.
Right, and you're actually contributing much more to the industry because you support entrepreneurs and you do like, you teach how to bake, like you have a school, all of that. So how do you balance both the real, well, I don't know now, it's either real business and then this side business that you've gotten off this, or both? How do you balance both?
Well, with what we do at Nuts About Cakes, we have a lot of people coming to ask us to learn how to actually bake cakes. But what we found eventually was that people learned the skill, but not the business side. So I set up the Bakers Academy, which actually helps you to learn about the business side of baking as well, because it does take a lot beyond sort of, you know, the flour and the butter and the sugar. It's also, you know, accounting and structure and, you know, other things like that as well. So.
And you're also, we were talking about training, but you're also big on women's empowerment.
Yes.
Which is something we don't always see when a woman has a business and she's still running, because you always, you have children as well.
I do.
You're busy, but you're actually still trying to uplift your fellow woman, young lady, be it. How are you able to still do that and still balance that life? Because with training, you've explained that, but with young women, it's a bit different, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of also guidance is involved in that. So beyond the how-to, it's also the support, it's also the encouragement, it's also, you can do it too. I was in your shoes. You know, I didn't start with a wad of cash and a huge store. I started, literally from the kitchen where people, where most people start from. So also giving them that support of it's possible, you can do it. And also, sometimes people do need a little bit of, free education, so you do want to also provide that and give people the skills to be able to grow and develop themselves.
Right. Well, why the focus on women, though? You know that there's this argument about men being better cooks, better chefs, better bakers. I don't know what you think about that.
To be honest, it's just natural. I'm a woman. I need to support my sisters. So there's no, ulterior motive, but it's just from my own perspective and, the advice.
We need more women with Michelin stars. They're always men. There are so many men with these Michelin stars.
I know.
It's just like, no, we do need.
So I'm trying to pay attention here, but we have
here we go.
Cakes in front of us. So talk us through what we have here.
So I brought you a little selection, little small pieces, because I know we're all fit fam these days. And we've got different flavors. So we've got red velvet, we have carrot, we have strawberry, we have fruit cake, we have chocolate, we have coconut, we have vanilla, and then we have a chocolate and vanilla marble.
This is not fit family care.
It is, it's small pieces.
I'm just going to go on and this is the coconut and
that's the coconut, that's the vanilla.
Okay, I'll do vanilla. Vanilla can go.
Okay. You think there are less calories in that?
I don't know what I think right now. I just know it smells so nice, and I've been trying to pay attention, and yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so talk us through baking. What is, if you were to have a baking 101 class, which you actually have, what's the first thing you will teach?
The first thing we will teach is about science, because, baking is actually a science. It is chemistry. You add this and this and this and this comes out at the end. If you add something else, you get something else. And also,
Stephanie was pretending.
I was trying to she wasn't
like she didn't want any.
It's not my cheat day.
I know, it's not Sunday, right? But so they're basics to learning. And also, when you're actually learning baking, you have to learn other skills like, measurement, like adding up, like hygiene, like, teamwork, so there are other things besides the actual mixing of the flour and, piping the cake. So there are other basic skills and foundational things that need to be in place as well.
Okay, sorry, go on.
What's the ratio like? I'm interested because we spoke about gender a bit, but what's the ratio like in your academies, in your training courses, men to women?
Oh, we actually have a lot more women, as you can imagine. Okay. But we also do have the odd man that comes in, and it's such a breath of fresh air when we see a man come in for training, and and then we're all like, oh wow, and then he's treated a little bit specially, and everyone's greeting him in the morning, and how was your night? And so it is not it's not 50-50, so probably I'd say about 90-10.
Which is totally different in the food industry, within actual culinary
industry. Yes, but let's talk about the exportation of our brands. You see, now we see a lot of, we have the Krispy Kreme here, we have Domino's, we have Pinkberry, we have all these guys coming in here. What is the limitation to local entrepreneurs like you from? I want to see your store in London. I want to see Not About Cakes. Somewhere it doesn't even have to be tucked away. It can be a big building, but just somewhere outside the shores of Nigeria. What is that limitation to local entrepreneurs in the food and beverage industry?
To be honest, I'm not sure when you hear of something coming from Africa, it's a little bit more different, but I wouldn't really say that's a limitation. We have something that's special and we have a story. So we didn't start off out of, corporate sort of, a corporate decision to make money. There's always a story behind it. There's always, some woman who, walked to the farm to pick something or to the water to get a calabash. So you can also use telling a story to sell your business. Also, the Krispy Kremes, etc., they've been in existence for, tens of years, for quite a while. And we don't have a lot of industries in Nigeria, especially in this industry, which have sustained over time. I mean, for us at Nuts About Cakes, we're over 10 years now. So hopefully in the next sort of, 5-10 years, watch this space. I don't know. I mean, there'll be lots more people who, once you build structure and you've got a few years behind you. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't say rush off to be in the UK. There's still a lot of Africa to cover. There's still a lot of Nigeria to cover, a lot of Lagos to cover before we actually get to the shores of,
everywhere
the UK and America, etc. Exactly, absolutely. Plus all the other people on the continent. So,
Okay, so how can people reach you? What's the social media handle?
Yes, so Nuts About Cakes. So Nuts About Cakes is Nuts About Cakes _official. That's our Instagram handle, and we're very active on that daily. I also have my own personal page, which is Majek Living, where I inspire women on different things. And also for our training, the Bakers Academy is also at @thebakers_acad on Instagram.
You're winning, Nikki. You're winning. When I say who's winning, be like, I'm winning. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Such an insightful conversation. Well, we have to take a short break now. Our take is up next. Don't go away.